Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And it looks like the holidays are officially kicking off with some major game deals. Whether you play on Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation, we got some big deals to go over today. We'll talk about that here in just a moment, though as always you can skip straight to that if you want. That's what those timestamps are for, but we do have plenty more to talk about today, including the Xbox Series and its insane backwards compatibility. We've always known it's been great, but it just got a whole lot better, so stick around for that as well. As always though, I cover the entire game industry, so today let's start off with PlayStation. So this has been widely speculated on pretty much before it even released, but a lot of fans have been expecting some kind of The Last of Us Part 2 remaster on the PlayStation 5. Whether you like this game or not, it's a huge game and I'm sure it was very expensive to make. It really seems like a no-brainer to get this game some kind of visual improvements on the PlayStation 5, and it looks like that might be happening soon, or at least according to Best Buy. There's no official announcement for this just yet, but over on Best Buy it does say it includes a next-generation upgrade, which has some fans very hopeful that this will indeed happen. Now, it is very possible that this is just some kind of error on Best Buy's part, or maybe it has something to do with The Last of Us Part 2 having DualSense support. It did receive some kind of haptic feedback support, so maybe they're talking about that. Again, nothing has been confirmed just yet, and I'm not seeing any indication on the PlayStation Store that this is happening, so for the time being, we'll keep an eye out for that. But I really wouldn't be surprised if we do eventually hear about some kind of PlayStation 5 upgrade. I do think that this makes sense considering Naughty Dog is still working on The Last of Us Part 2. They say the multiplayer edition will be worth the wait, and if I were to guess, I think when that officially gets revealed, they will also say the entire game will have a PlayStation 5 upgrade. Hopefully free, and I expect that to be the case, but if you like Part 2, you might have some good news to look forward to here soon. Moving on, we got a few Japanese games to talk about that JRPG fans are going to be very happy about. Earlier this year, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne was announced for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4, and that was big news. We know that the Persona franchise has grown quite a bit over the last decade, but with that, so has Shin Megami Tensei, and a lot of people believe Nocturne is the best within this franchise. So there is a lot of excitement for this game, but unfortunately, a lot of fans have been concerned with this HD remaster. Nocturne has been available in Japan for a little while now, and there's been several complaints about how this game runs. It does have some technical issues, some bugs, and some problems with its behavioral speech. Well, the good news is it looks like Atlus is now working on those problems, and while it hasn't been fixed yet, they are looking to fix these issues. Now that's fantastic news for fans in the West because by the time it releases in 2021, there's a very real chance that we get a good game day one. Like I said, I know there's been some concern and I've seen people even dismiss this game because of it, but it looks like you can ramp that excitement back up once again. It almost feels like the staggered release worked out this time. I don't know if I've ever been happy about a staggered release before today, but I am looking forward to playing Nocturne sometime in 2021. That's not the only big JRPG coming in 2021 though, and this next one fans have been asking for a sequel for years and years. Yeah, that's right, we've talked about this a few times in the last couple of months, but it's now official, Neo The World Ends With You has officially been revealed. This isn't just another port or some kind of mobile edition either, but this is a full-fledged sequel. I had a good feeling about this one. I think it was about a month ago when Tetsuya Nomura was teasing some kind of Switch-related announcement, and I was thinking with the anime coming and him not wanting to do a Kingdom Hearts collection, this was a possibility. I'm certainly glad it is as well because this is a very overlooked game. It's both unique and great at the same time. Now, we don't know much about its story just yet, but we do know that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch and surprisingly, the PlayStation 4 in summer of 2021. Yeah, it's not even too far away, and from what we've seen so far, this game looks interesting. It has that very recognizable stylized graffiti art style that it's so known for, but it's making a transition into being a 3D style game. I'm personally okay with that and think it looks very good. Really though, if you've never played the first one, it holds up incredibly well even today, so I'd recommend you try that one out. I will say this though, once again, it seems like Square Enix is skipping out on an Xbox release, and this seems to be a trend anymore. I really don't understand it by this point. I think that they're leaving a lot of money on the table. I mean, I understand that Japanese games will sell more on the PlayStation and Nintendo devices, but still, Some of these games I think would do well on Xbox, and they could also make use of Xbox Game Pass if they really wanted to. I guess it is what it is, but Phil Spencer is going to have to talk with Square Enix just a bit more about some of these missed games. Either way, big congrats to the fans of this franchise because, again, I know you guys have been asking for this for years and years, and it's finally happening. Let's move on over to the Xbox Series for a moment though, because the backwards compatibility just got a whole lot better. I mean, this is absolutely insane, but we've known about how much Xbox has emphasized backwards compatibility. They ended up getting 4 generations of Xbox working on the Xbox Series, and I think they really should be applauded for that. I don't think some people realize just how big of an accomplishment that is, but what if Xbox could run non-Xbox related games? If that were to happen, the Xbox Series would essentially become the ultimate retro console. Well, apparently, it can. So I'm going to leave a link below to Modern Vintage Gamer's YouTube video on this topic because he goes into a lot of detail about this and does a great job with that, but you can actually get RetroArch working on your Xbox Series. This means that you'll be able to play several retro consoles on your Xbox, such as the Nintendo 64, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, the GameCube, among several other consoles. Yeah, that is absolutely incredible, but the way this is done is by activating Dev Mode on your Xbox Series. You do have to pay a $20 fee to activate this mode, and then you can switch over to Dev Mode where you can basically turn your Xbox into a very good emulation machine. Apparently, most games are even running flawlessly on the Xbox Series too. Now, you can't play Xbox Series retail games in Dev Mode, but luckily, you can actually switch back and forth. So this is actually a very big deal in terms of emulation and homebrew. I mean, the Xbox Series S is only $300, and this could be a selling point for several people to get the Series S. Not only would you be able to play modern games, but you'll also be able to play retro games that runs very impressively on the Series S. And one interesting thing about all this is that this might be getting PlayStation 2 support soon. Not only is the PlayStation 2 the best-selling home console ever made, making it an intriguing emulation option, but the PlayStation 5 doesn't even have PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility. That means technically, the Xbox Series might get PlayStation 2 support before the PlayStation 5. How crazy is that? Now, to be fair, Xbox themselves aren't the ones making this happen, but it's still kind of amusing to think about. Sony, for whatever reason, just doesn't seem to put a lot of emphasis on their backwards compatibility. I think that's a shame too. In all honesty, I would buy several of these older games if given the option, but you know, Sony just hasn't gotten it to work yet. Now, hopefully that changes in the future, but let me know. Are you interested in getting these old retro games working on your Xbox Series? Personally, I think it's really cool to see something like this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this topic. Next up though, let's talk about the PlayStation 5. One big topic since the PlayStation 5 was released has been all about the new DualSense controller. That's really been the most eye-opening feature for a lot of fans. The amount of technology in this thing is seriously very impressive, and it looks like Steam has taken notice of this. We talked about this last week, but Steam did add DualSense support for Steam. Now, it's only in beta so far, and as of last week, the only thing that was working was the DualSense itself. That means the technology that fans are raving about so much wasn't working just yet. Well, it looks like we got a new update that adds several new features. So far, Valve has managed to get the trackpad, LED support, rumble, and gyro working for the PC. Now, it's that last one that I find to be the most interesting. Some people do prefer using gyro for first-person shooters. I know that was a big selling point for the Valve controller a few years ago. While that controller maybe didn't reach expectations on giving you the accuracy of a mouse with its trackpads, it did allow for better accuracy with its gyro feature. It is a bit strange feeling at first to use gyro in these games, and there's a learning curve there, so not everybody likes this, but there is a niche for this feature. Unfortunately, Steam hasn't gotten its adaptive triggers and haptic feedback working just yet, but I think it's only a matter of time. Hopefully that changes soon, but this would be a big plus for third-party games, as it would give more reason for third-party developers to add in some of these features. That wasn't the only PlayStation news though, because they also revealed they will be adding variable refresh rate support for the PlayStation 5 in a future update. This has been an often requested feature as the Xbox Series supported this right out of the gate. This is an important feature for games with high frame rates such as 60 frames per second. With VRR, you can essentially remove screen tearing, and this has been reported for a few of the launch games on the PlayStation 5. I do think that's important to note though. I've been seeing a lot of discussion over the performance of these new consoles within the last week, and there's a lot of nitpicking happening. Do keep in mind these are just launch games right now, and very rarely do we ever see consoles reach their max capabilities at launch. And hey, we're already seeing some improvement with PlayStation and VRR support, so just keep that in mind going forward. These launch games' performance has been such a big improvement over the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and things are going to get even better as developers get better and more tools for these consoles. So no worries there, it's going to be a fun generation, and I'm really happy that we're seeing 60 frames per second being emphasized so early on. On to our last topic though, we got some big Cyber Monday and Black Friday deals happening right now with the big three. Yes, it doesn't matter which one you play, whether it be one or all three, each one of them are holding a big sale right now. Xbox has a Cyber Monday deal going on with a ton of games on sale. I was kind of skimming through it, and one game that immediately stood out for me was Crash 4. If you've been following this channel for a while now, you know I think this is a great game, but one complaint fans had was with Activision's asking price. This was a $60 game right out of the gate, whereas Crash Insane Trilogy was $40. Well, if you skipped out early on because of that price, the good news is that it's 35% off right now on both Xbox and PlayStation. Seriously, if you like the Crash franchise, do yourself a favor and pick this one up. Of course, there's plenty of other games on sale over at Xbox, such as Watch Dogs Legion, and that's also a new game, and then Nintendo has their own thing happening. Xenoblade 2 is on sale, Hades, which might win the Game of the Year, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions. That game's not even that old, and it's $40. And then lastly, you have PlayStation, and they have some really big games on sale. Watch Dogs Legion is also on sale over at the PlayStation Store, and then you have Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and a ton more. If you like to buy your games digitally, right now is the perfect chance to stock up. There's a lot of really good games on sale right now, several of which aren't even all that old, so go check those out and let me know what games you picked up. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.